I believe very strongly that the preservation of fossils in protected areas is really everybody's mandate. The Alberta government took a very strong stand in this in the 1970s and started protecting not just dinosaurs but all fossil resources. The initial idea, of course, came because of the fact that so many dinosaurs had left the province and gone to other places, and that there were, in fact, both rockhounds and commercial companies coming into Alberta and collecting dinosaur bones and exporting them for sale in other parts of the world. With the protection of our fossil resources, then, of course, we had to go through an educational stage where people initially were incensed by the fact that they didn't have the freedom anymore to collect these things and sell them as they liked. But very quickly, actually, most people in Alberta started to realize that this was to the benefit of the province. Drumheller, for example, realized many years before the law went through that the fact that people were coming and taking so much dinosaur bone was detrimental to their future as a tourist area. And so they were very happy to see the law passed to end what, in fact, was vacuum cleaning the Badlands every year for dinosaur bone. And it did make a big difference. In other cases, people realized that the laws in Alberta were actually very fair, that people could pick up dinosaur bone and take them home. They didn't officially own them, they still belonged to the government of Alberta, but by the law, they were allowed to hold and curate these things for the government of Alberta for the future. And it gave people, I think, the right kind of attitude towards protecting these resources, because they are something that you don't just look at once. As a scientist, you go back over and over and over again to the old specimens that were collected a century ago. And the fact that they're available for us to go back means that we can actually advance our science. We can add to it by going out and making new discoveries, for sure, but the old material is incredibly important as well. We also find that, of course, there are areas that, like Dinosaur Provincial Park, that also need protection, not just from the perspective that the fossils themselves need protecting, but the resources and the association of the fossils with the rocks themselves is very important to us. It's not a matter anymore of a paleontologist going out and picking up a bone and taking it home. He has to know what the context of that bone is. He has to be able to look at the rocks and see what kind of information there is in the rocks about the environment that dinosaur was living in. You can learn something, for example, about the behavior of the dinosaur by sometimes studying the association of the fossils with the rocks. And because of this, for example, in Alberta we have very strong evidence that horned dinosaurs were moving in giant herds of thousands of animals. We wouldn't have that if we didn't look at the rocks with the fossils. So the protection of fossil sites is almost as important as the protection of the fossils themselves. And over time, I think we're seeing greater emphasis put on not just protecting Dinosaur Provincial Park, but all of the Badlands in the province, because they all have a different story to tell, and together they create one of the strongest pictures of the age of the dinosaurs anywhere in the world.